my friends, it's Thursday again. It's that time of the day. I think it's around, it's 4 p.m., it's 3 p.m. BST. Now let me just take down the music a bit. So it's again Thursday, one day till the weekend, so we're finally getting through the week. Here in Czech Republic, it was actually shorter week. We had, on Monday, we had bank holiday. So finally, once in 10 times, it's Europe against the United States, because otherwise, whenever I'm meeting my buddy Ryan from the US, he's never, showing up to the meetings because there is a banking holiday or bank holiday every other week. I would say it's crazy, but maybe it's just by chance that this year all the bank holidays were Mondays. But good thing is that it's Thursday again, and you see here on the screen that I'm looking at Cantico Advantage again. So the last 3 or 4 streams, I think it was like that, we were working on the grid sum or the Gatsby Lumen starter going to be implemented in grid sum. And good news is that I already implemented that. Let me open that on GitHub. So if you're interested, you can take a look. I think it's called grid sum starter. So they have a naming convention right there. Content Lumen. So that's the source code of what we were working on for the past 4 streams. Now you see, this is live yet, but it's not yet submitted. It's a template, by the way. It's not yet submitted to the GridSum repository of starters. The reason for that is that if you look at the live stream from last week, I stumbled upon an issue that was caused by rich text resolver. And the problem was that the assets that were in the rich text were just not rendered. There was a blank space, no image there. The reason for that was that some of the assets were not added to the assets collection. Now this is a specific of the GridSum source plugin. And I actually tried to investigate it last Friday. I found the issue. And just as I was about to create an issue in Chris Meager's repository, this is the source plugin, by the way, GridSum source Cantico content. That's when I found the issue, when I debugged that, I thought about a possible workaround. So I was thinking of adding that as an issue here and just moving on. I figured out that the issue has already been opened here. So assets that are only referenced in rich text field not appearing in asset collection. So had I known this before I started to debug the problem, that would have probably saved me 3 or 4 hours of debugging. But anyway, I decided to go ahead and create a pull request. So I created a workaround, added a pull request, which will hopefully get merged this week. Circling back to the reason why this is not public yet is because there is a button for live demo on Netlify. And the reason why it's not published yet is because before the workaround is merged into the source plugins repository, this build will never succeed. So this build or Netlify's build server is actually complaining that the images are just not there, that somehow the URLs are missing, which is obviously a result of the bug. So once this is merged, I can restart the build. Otherwise, the repo is hopefully finalized. Everything looks quite good from my point of view. So take a look at this if you're interested in GridSum in Lumen. The website is quite complex. It doesn't seem like it, but when you look at it, it's just a few content pages here. It's a few articles, but there are also tags and categories generated, so you have to generate a page for every single one of them. So it's a bit more complex than you would expect from the first glance, but it's that's what makes it a nice starter, actually. The only problem is, or my only mistake that I've done here with the pull request is that I didn't wait for today, and I did that pull request 6 days ago. Do you know what the reason is? Do you know what today is? Well, today is the 1st of October. And 1st of October, every single year means that it's a Hacktoberfest, right? And this year, in the scope of Hacktoberfest, if you do 4 pull requests to any public open source repository, you're eligible for either a t-shirt or they will plant a tree for you. So one of these things. If you're one of the first 70,000 ones that complete, I think, 4 pull requests. So this pull request would have made me 1 pull request closer to that goal. Anyway, that means I have to try more. But yeah, it's a Gritsum, not Gritsum. It's Hacktoberfest time again. Hopefully, the Kentico Advantage, source plugin update will make for another pull request, which will mean 3 more to go. But yeah, it's October. October's every year Hacktoberfest. Make sure to look at the public repositories of what you are interested in, and try to get an issue, try to solve it, make a pull request, and you're gonna get a nice T-shirt. This year, actually, they're very nice. So I saw always those black ones, with the logo on them. But if you look at this one, I really like the white one this year. Maybe the reason is that I'm kind of lacking white T-shirts. It seems like developers, they prefer darker colors, which I don't know why, but my wardrobe says so. So the white one looks very nice. So definitely something to look forward to. Oh, there's a dark mode as well. Ah, nice. Also dark T-shirt. Cool. Both of them are nice. So yeah, guys, if you like open source, make sure to participate. And you can also take a look at some of the open source repositories on my under my account. If you're interested in some of the things that I have there, or what you can do is look at the Kentico repositories. Let's take a look there. So there are 114 repositories. They are JavaScript, they are C#, they're Java, they're Ruby, they're pretty much anything. Yeah, so you can figure out what, or you can pick one that's closest to your heart and create a pull request. We're always happy for pull requests. We're always happy to review them. We're always happy to give you advice. So, or not us, it's probably my 2 colleagues, not me. I'm not that experienced with reviewing code, but they will be happy to help you. Perfect, guys. So that's Hacktoberfest. And now let's take a look at Gatsby. Now I don't, the last time we were looking at this was I don't know, a month ago, something like that. So I don't really remember in which state we left this project. So I have no idea what we're looking at. This is I hope that this is the right place. So I have, I don't know if this happens to you as well, but if you have multiple projects, sometimes I clone the repository multiple times, because sometimes I get into a place where I just abandon the project, and in a half a year, I remember that it would be nice to do something about that project. So what I usually end up doing is cloning that repository again, because sometimes people may have done some pull requests in the meantime. So I clone it again, and then as a result, I have like 5-6 copies of that same repository on my drive, or on spread among multiple drives. So I'm not sure if this is the right version, but let's hope it is. The last changes there were made in August, which I think somehow correlates with when I switched to Gritsum. So let's take a look. I'm just gonna run Gatsby develop here to see in which state the site actually is. This is gonna take a second probably, because it's the first. It's the cold start, so this is usually taking a bit longer. And I opened the site, in its current version. So this is also Gatsby, but this is already online. So this means it's the old version of the source plugin. The slow version of the source plugin, if you will. Here we go. We got 3 problems here. Warnings. I don't care about warnings. I only care about errors. So here we go. You can now view Kentico Advantage in the browser. So let's see. Let's close these things. Okay. Wow, this looks the same. Nice. Oh, this is a bit off. And there's no cookie consent. We're locally running this site. Oh, this is actually the same. So If I get rid of the cookie consent, it looks exactly the same. Awesome. Now let's take a look. If we go into gathering, yeah, that's what I thought. So the next press buttons are not working. This is actually something I want to take a look at today. If we can get this working. The numbering isn't working. So I've got gathering here. You see there is a 1. And if you go further down, there is 1.1, which is something we want to look at as well today. And yeah, the rich text is not at all rendered here. Otherwise, it looks quite the same. Oh, we're also missing breadcrumbs here. So let's start with those things. I assume that we're looking at template called face, which should be the one that renders that page. And let's take a look at what we're dealing with. Well, the good thing is that the page is rendered, right? We're still working on the old implementation. So the good thing is that this is rendered. We're looking at content zone, teaser, jumbotron, breadcrumbs. So breadcrumbs are here. Let's try to put something here like hello world to see if we're really on the page. Next press buttons. Oh, there it is. Hello world. So it's hidden. It's kind of hidden behind that top bar, which is fine. But we're there, so that's a good thing to know. We're in the right project. We're in the right implementation. Now let's take a look at breadcrumbs. I just want to take a look at what's inside. Okay, here is the hello world. We've got the static query here. I assume the problem is with the query definition, because it's likely going to be different. And what I'm going to do is just uncomment this, and we're going to try to work this out. So these are the breadcrumbs, right? So let's uncomment this. This should produce an error. Perfect. So failed to compile. And what we can do is we can just take the GraphQL query here and try to do the same one, localhost 8000. Try to create the similar one with the new version of the source plugin. Okay, let's, I want to make this nicer. Okay, here we go. So, all content navigation item, this seems to be fine. The only problem is here. We don't have a system here, and we're looking for ID. We're looking for child items. So, first of all, we're getting all content item navigation item. Maybe it would be a good thing to also show the content here. So I'm just gonna open the headless CMS in a different window. I'm just switching to the right project in the meantime. So where is Candico Advantage? Here it is. Okay, here we go. So we are looking at all content item navigation item. So we're looking for navigation items, and these are all of them. So I assume that we're looking for, okay, here we go. So filter elements URL value equals. So we're looking for the root. Here it is, nav root. And it's the code name, right? No, it's the URL. Okay, URL is the tilde sign. So that's good. So this is the one that we're looking for. We're looking for edges, nodes, elements, child items. So we're looking for these child items. And I assume that he's complaining because he doesn't have a type. Yeah. This is a content item modular content element value. So that's not what we want. What we want is a type here. So we need to figure out a type there. I just don't really remember the right syntax there. So let me see if I can find this out. Or if you guys know, let me know. Let me know. You know, the three dots, I think it's 3 dots off or on, and the specific type. But I'm not sure on the right syntax. Let me try it. On content item. Why don't we have any? Nope. Why don't we have any types here? So we're looking at, if we look at this, let me move this away. This is the chat window. What we're looking for is the type. And I think, let me see what we have here. So these are navigation items as well. So we're looking for on content item navigation item. But he doesn't like that. Okay, maybe I got the syntax wrong. I'm just wondering where we are using that. I think, oh, here it is. Content item scenario. Okay, so the syntax is a little bit different, but otherwise it's the same. So dot on. So let's say the same. Content item. I think this is also one of the differences between the old version and the new version. That instead of camel case, we got these underscores. Oh, here we go. Now this looks better. So we were looking for system ID. Here we go. You can just take it like it is. That seems too easy to be true, right? Are we? Oh, here we go. Fragment cannot be spread here as objects of type content item. Modular content item can never be of type content item navigation item. Okay, maybe we're looking for value. There we go. Oh, why am I not using this thing? So, you know, working on the grid sum starter, learned or taught me to just write the query on my own. While here in this GraphQL Explorer, what I can do is I can just click through these things. So why am I doing that on my own? So on content item navigation item, we're looking for elements, child items. So first of all, we're looking for a system ID. We've got that there. We're looking for title, and we are definitely looking for child items. Value, and on, you know, that's this thing. And on that, we're also looking for system ID. And we're looking for elements. Oh, but okay, so we're looking for value, but we're looking for value only. Can I make this a bit bigger? No. Okay, that sucks. But we're looking only for content item navigation item again. We're again looking for system ID. Not sure if this ID is the same. And we are looking for elements, URL value, and title value. Perfect. So what we can do now is we can get rid of this. Oh, we're also looking for content item, by the way, from the first level. So value, navigation item, elements, child items. So they're also looking for content item, system ID. And what would that content item be? I think that would be phase. So we're not actually looking, we don't care here. We only want content item, its ID, value, and title. A URL and title. But let's take a look. So here, let's take a look at the project phases. And under project phases, we're looking for navigation item. Let's say gathering. And the content item is phase. So the good thing is to check whether there can be anything else. So content item limited at most one item. And it can be all types, but I think that for our use case, it's always phase. So this is planning, content item second phase. Okay, so let's assume that it's always gonna be a phase. So we're looking for navigation item, child items, and we're looking for content item. Value is gonna be phase, and we're looking for system ID, and we're looking for elements, title, and URL. Perfect. Now we can get rid of this thing. System ID elements. Actually, just this. We can get rid of these things because we already have that under the value there. But otherwise, I think we're quite good. The next thing is all content item phase. We're looking for node elements, subphases, and the thing is going to be the same here. Let's go down. So we're looking for all content item phase, elements, subphases, system ID. So we're looking for a value, and subphases will always be a phase. So we're looking for what? System ID. And we're also looking for elements, title, and URL. Perfect. Okay, let's take a look. Kind of query fields. Okay, now we got some issues here. I forgot to delete this. But now we're getting some data. Perfect. All right, so you see that the main issue with this GraphQL query was that the old version was not using types at all. The new version is using types. So that was the main change I had to do. Otherwise, I left the GraphQL query as it was, right? I didn't make any other changes. So, oh, this is without the query definition. So one last bracket here. Query GraphQL. Let's make this a bit nicer. There we go. Okay, not too nice, but nicer than what it used to be. Let's save this and let's see if this is actually gonna work right away. I don't think so, but yeah, here we go. There was a problem parsing process. This may indicate a syntax error. J6 just and closing tag. J6 fragment. Oh yeah. This is because I have two root elements here, the p hello world and static query. So I'm just going to remove the paragraph. Now what else do we have here? Syntax error, expected name, found end of file. Second level current items. It's a good GraphQL syntax error, which probably means I have one missing bracket there because I copied the whole query, but there is one additional bracket here. So I think I need another bracket here. Let's see. There we go. So it's still not working, but we've now got a code issue, right? So items filter is not a function. Let's take a look at how this works. Yeah. So first of all, content item ID is the page ID. Okay. Breadcrumbs items, and we're failing on find items. So first of all, we need to find where. Okay, here it is. Here we're calling this find item. Current items is a root node element child items. Root node is the first node. Okay. Child items, and I think that we are missing child items.value. That's the problem here. I think we were stumbling upon this problem in the past as well. Let's see. Okay, still an issue there, but a different one. I'm just gonna do a quick console log here to see what we're dealing with. Let's scroll all the way down here. Not sure this is gonna output here or no, in the browser actually. Let's take a look. Bunch of errors here, but here we go. So we got 2 navigation items. This works. This is fine. This is what I expect. Elements, we've got child items, everything's there. So I assume that the problem is that we are missing dot value somewhere later in the code as well. So this current items, let's take a look at this find item, items.filter, and he's complaining that items.filter is not a function. Current items, child items value. So this should be an array. And this is an array, so it should be filterable. So let's see if this is actually sourcing here. If there is not another find item. Oh, here it is. Second level items. You see, we need dot value here as well. Let's see if we're using get items somewhere else as well. Items, but here the items are working. Okay, let's see if this is gonna fix this. Okay, no error. No error here. Let's try to refresh this and see the console. Okay, still some issues here. Each child, but this is something that's easily fixable. Okay, still some issues here, but the page is loading. And we've got introduction here, right? We don't have anything else there, but we've got introduction, which is nice. So now what I want to fix, so I did fix the dot value on these items. So I still need to fix the all content items phase because we've done the subphases value here. So looking for subphases now. So here it is. It's found subphase. You know, that's why that is the subphases are not there. We were missing value. That's why there is only introduction here, nothing else. Let's see if this is gonna help. Still not there. Maybe there is something more. Let's see. Edges filter, that should be fine. I think we're also gonna need the dot value on the content item, by the way. Got the content item dot value. So this is another thing that we need to fix. So here it is, content item dot value. Content item dot value. Dot value. So you see, this is pretty much like figuring out little cosmetic changes and fixing it all. Content item dot elements, so dot value. Elements, okay. Content item dot value. Items, filter, find item, that's fine. Okay, anything else here? Subphases dot value, this is fine. Here's content item. So we're missing dot value here as well. Otherwise, it looks quite good. Oh, here it is. Content item dot value. Content item dot value. You see, I don't even need to go into what these functions do, but I already know that there is a problem with the dot value everywhere. Okay. This looks good to me. Let's see. Cannot read property value of undefined. Items.filter. Okay, so in case there is no item, so we need to fix the find item. In case there is no item there. content item ID. So if array is array content item dot value, so I would say that there should be check for nav item dot elements dot content item, or actually this should never be null. This will always be an array. So how come this is empty? We're looking for value. Oh, okay, so content item. How come content item is empty? So if nav item elements content item is not null or is defined, so we can actually do it like this. So still, oh, maybe, okay. Maybe this is a different value here. Maybe this is coming from content item 0, but if this is an array and the content item value length is 1, then this should never be. Okay, let's do it like this. Content item. Let's log it. Okay, nothing's there. How come we have nothing there? Can't read property value of undefined 202. Nav item is not defined. Oh, okay, that's my mistake there. So what are we actually doing here? We're filtering okay, we're filtering, we're trying to get item. We're trying to get items with content item ID. So let's log items and let's log the content item ID here. There we go. Undefined. Okay, the content item ID is undefined. That might be the issue here. Because how come this is undefined? So I got elements, content item, value, array 0. This is fine. This is always an array, you see? So the length should always fail. Now let's take a look at why this content item ID is undefined. That should never be the case. So let's see where we are using that content item ID. Content item ID is coming from this props page ID. Let's see if we have that. But it seems like we don't. Yep, this is undefined. This is the problem. So we need to fix that. So the breadcrumbs.js component is coming from face. And the face ID is not working. Let's try to output it here, just to be sure. Just to be sure. But I don't think I'll actually see that here. Let's log it. Undefined, 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 but that should be here. This is also undefined. Okay, face 71, that's exactly here. So this is undefined. Okay, we're getting closer. So this is the problem here. This is the problem one level up. Face.id is empty, data content item face. So I guess we have a wrong query here. Content item face. Elements system ID equals ID. Yeah, we're not getting it. You see, we're not getting it at all. Let me see. Data content item face. And then we are looking for face.id, which is obviously not there because we're not getting it from the GraphQL query. That makes sense. Let's take a look at content item face then in the GraphQL. Let me remove this. Content item face. And we have the ID right here. So the only thing we need to do is this. And let's see if we get at least some of the values. Connected, undefined still. Okay. We are in a face, content item face. It's not in elements, right? No, it's just below the root. Okay. Let's try to output it again. Okay, here we got the ID finally. Perfect. So now we have the ID. Now this was not the core issue here, but we still need it. So now we finally have the ID there. This props page ID, so we get that. Now we need to figure out why the value is null here. So see, this is an array. This is the content item ID. Here we've got the first item of the array. Look at elements, content item, value, and the value is array with 0 items. Elements, content item, value, 1 item. So we are looking for items where the navigation item has content item, which has value, but it always has a value, so this is redundant, just like I said before. Let's remove this as well. Array is array. Content item. That value, that length is 1. Let's try to log this. Oh, nav item is not, okay. Let's try it this way. I just want to see what's going on there. 0, 0. That's what I expected. That's fine. So this should render false 2 times. Just seeing if, yeah, this is 2 times false. Okay. So this should be working as well. So then we're going into nav item dot elements dot content item. Oh, no, that was my mistake then. Dot value dot 0, of course. We first need to get the value because the value is the array, not the item. So sorry for that. We have to fix that everywhere. That's a stupid mistake. Now let me remove this and see if these 2 places are the only ones. No, here is another one. And I think that could be it. Let's see. Nope, still cannot read property value of undefined. So content item, so it seems like still the content item is undefined. I need to log items again because I don't remember seeing any item that did not have this. Nope, this is not the right window. Here we go. So see, we got 2 here. Elements, content item, nav item, elements, content item, value. This is always defined. Content item is also always defined. Let's see here. Oh, here it isn't. So elements, content item is not defined here. So we may need that after all. Okay, so now we got the problem somewhere else. Now we got the problem in 160 on line 168. here. Second level current items filter. Here is the same thing. So item, elements, content, item, and. But this actually shows me that there's probably a problem in my GraphQL query. So second level current items is coming from current items, which are coming from root node elements child items value. Child items value. And I think that, let me see the original query, right? This is the original query. I just want to check if we were getting the content items of, yeah, so this is the first level. And this is the second level. So we're getting that from the second level as well. Which doesn't seem to be the case now. So we did that on the first level. So this is the first level. Content item. Then we got the child items. But here we got only the element title and URL, which we didn't even need. Oh, we did, yeah, here elements. But of the content item, not of the navigation item. Here we got only the title. But here we did not get even the title. Only the ID and the type. That's interesting. But we need the content item anyway. So what I can do, what I actually prefer to do is just take the whole thing and put it to GraphQL, because that's just a better place to do that. So what we were getting is, on the first node, we were getting the child items. So those were the navigation items that were directly below root. And we were getting title content item of the child items. Of the child items, we were getting system ID, we were getting title, and content item. This is exactly what I'm getting here. And apart from, we were getting child items, and from the child items, we are getting system ID. We were getting content item. So not this, but content item. Oh, elements. Content item. Elements, content item, system ID and type. So I get value, system ID and type, I think. Yeah. System ID and type, and URL and title from elements. I think we also need ... on content item face actually here. And again, elements, title value, and URL value. Okay, now this works. So let's make this nice. And let's copy that over back to the code. And hopefully the code will start working now. So we don't need this anymore. Just replace that. I can make it pretty later. Perfect. So let's take a look. And refresh this. Okay, cannot read property value of undefined. Here we go again. Now we finally got the content item here. That's good. And what do we need here? So cannot read property value. Content item value, content item value length. Oh, there it is, content item 0, you see? This is again the same issue as I had before. Line 180. So content item dot value 0. Nice. Okay, so we got the introduction. We didn't move anywhere, but at least this is buildable now. I can remove the console logs here. Perfect. And breadcrumbs 150. I think we're just outputting the content item ID here. Let's remove that as well. Cool. Now we got the introduction and gathering. Let me see. Yeah, this should go to project phases and gathering as well. So still something's missing. So let's see what's going on here. So current items, root node element, child items, value. Those would be the first level items. This find item, content item ID. So maybe we are still, you know, comparing the wrong item IDs. So this actually filters all the items and tries to find the one by the system ID. Oops, I did not mean to close that. So the question is whether the face ID is actually ID. Okay, let me just log this here again and log the content item ID as well. So this is the ID of the face, and this is these are the navigation items. Now what we're looking for is all the navigation items that are on the way to this item ID. So we should be able to figure that out from here quite easily. So the ID we're looking for, let me just close this, clean this, and make this fresh. So the ID we're looking for is 68124 and so on. And these are the top level items here, right? We are looking for this one, I assume. We're looking for title, project phases. So this is project phases is the one that we actually want in the list, because here you see project phases is in the breadcrumbs. So that's the one that we want to match that condition. We're looking for content item that has the right ID, which will not be found obviously here because it has no content IDs, no content items. So we're going further here to all the phases where we will also, well, we should be able to find it here. Let's take a look at element, content item, value, 0, and the title. This is gathering. So this is the one. And you see that for gathering page, we're looking for 68124, but what we're actually looking for is AD05C, which means we are using the wrong ID, and we're using the wrong ID on the face level. See, this is wrong. This should be face.system.id. This too. And we obviously need to change this as well. So the ID is coming from Gatsby, while the system.id should be coming from content. Let's see if this is going to help. Now you see, now we got introduction, product phases, and gathering is correctly marked as the current one. So perfect, we got this working. So I can now remove the console logs. Where are you guys? Here I am. Okay, perfect. So we got breadcrumbs working. Now, why did this change? This was 0 before, right? Okay, this is still 0. Fine. Let's remove this. This is fine. Now, what we need to do is change this 0 to actually number 1. And let's see. Okay, so we always get 0 here. This is obviously wrong. Let's take a look at how we can change that. We're looking for face template. So breadcrumbs are working now. We are looking for this, and we are looking for, so header is index plus the title value. So we're looking for index value. Index is face index plus subface index. This is correct. So let's see what we have as a face index. Here it is 0. And we're looking for okay, so we're going through all the navigation items. This is actually the root element. Elements, child items, value for each. So we're looking over, or iterating over the top level navigation items. And for every single one of them, if there is a content item here, then we are incrementing the index and we're trying to find one that matches our ID, but I think that here we are actually one level too high. If you look at content item navigation item, let's see the GraphQL query. Yeah, this is the one. So we need to go into child. Oh, no, not this one. Data, what was it? Data, content item, navigation item. Oh, okay, so we're looking for nav project phases. And we are looking for elements, child items, value. Okay, so that should be fine then. We're looking for only the project phases here. And array is array, that's fine. But here is an issue. So you see phase nav elements, content item, value, but this, oh, this actually doesn't matter. If this is data content item phase, but there might also be a mismatch of IDs, you know. That's what I don't like about working with just those IDs. So I'd rather just make this one elements content item value dot system dot ID and phase dot system dot ID. And I don't know if we're actually counting with that. Yeah, we have the system ID here, and on the child items, oh, here we are. System codename, blah, 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 elements, child items, value, content item, value. So we're looking for ID, but we should be looking for system ID. And elements, subphases, value. I think this should also be system ID. Maybe he's not gonna like it if we don't specify the type. Not sure about that. Cannot read property ID of undefined. Yeah, he doesn't like it. Content item value 0 system. So we're looking for elements. Content item, actually. But we only have child items here. So I guess this is this place. Value on content item phase system ID. Let's copy this GraphQL query into the Explorer and see what's wrong. Oh, but we need ID here. But not for this one. Let's try it. This works. On content item phase, we're getting the system IDs finally. Nice. Okay, so the problem is elsewhere. Cannot be property ID of undefined phase on line 49. So if phase nav elements content item value system ID equals phase system ID. Okay, let's try to log this. So phase is an object. Let's take the last one. System ID, we got that there. That should be fine. So phase nav elements. So each element, child item, yeah, these are coming from the phase. All right. This is this. References, or isn't it? Because otherwise here I'm getting child items value and elements, content item, value, and system ID. Let's log the console, the phase nav then. Okay, let's take the last one. Elements, content item, value, 0, system ID. So phase nav, elements, content item, value. First one, dot system, dot ID. This is there. So why are you saying that it's undefined? Maybe there is one that does not have a content item. It just doesn't seem like it. System ID. System ID. Everything seems to be fine. So what is going on? Let's try it this way. We're just going to log it and we'll see if there is something. Okay, so this works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is always there. And let's log phase, that's system.id. This works. Okay, I just refreshed the page. Now it works. All right, thank you, Gatsby. but you see, now the indexing works. Perfect, and it's really fast actually. Now let me remove the console logs. So we got that nice and clean. We still have the unique prop. Let's fix that so that we get rid of this. Menu 183. Menu 183. Let's try to find something that is unique enough. What's this doing? Root item, children map, menu item. Okay, so we're doing menu items, yeah. I think what we can do is current phase. So this is going to phases, so elements ID. That's unique enough. $183. I just fixed that. Should be unique. Each child in the list should have a unique key prop. I did that. Oh, maybe there is no ID here, but it should be. Then let's use a URL.value. $194, okay. Lee item submenu. Okay, so this was the submenu. So this should be item. What else can we use? There is a menu item. I think that this is the topmost. Yeah, here we go. Menu item. URL. Guess we can use that. URL value. Elements URL value. Ooh, nice. Oh, future version of React will block. Okay, we got some stuff here. 84 mobile bar. 84, we're using JavaScript here. Open menu, okay. So what should we use? Unsafe HTML, try dangerous, blah, blah, blah. So what are we supposed to use for a ref if this is not possible? What if we just use it without a ref overall? Maybe this should be a button, not a anchor. Let's see. Menu 200. Cool, 0 errors. Nice, okay. Let's hope that everything's gonna work the way it should be. But so far so good. Okay, so we've got gathering now. Now we need to start working on the actual content. So let's go back to face template. So there is the teaser, there is the content zone, and table of contents. So we got the breadcrumbs. Now we're looking at the Jumbotron. I think that's this part of the page overall. So in the index is working now. Now we're looking for teaser. Teaser is face elements teaser value, which seems to be working well. Cool. So now we're looking at content zone, class name right zone. Face elements icon. Icon is working well. If the icon's there, then we display that. That works well. Then there is a table of contents. So table of contents is based on face elements content resolved HTML, which is not there. And I assume that this just extracts the content. Yeah, this get headings from text. So what I can do is first check if we're getting any content. But I don't think we are getting any content. Undefined, here we go. So that's because the resolved HTML is not part of the new plugin. So let's take a look at content Gatsby plugin. There we go. So what we need to do, we are looking for Gatsby source Kentico plugin. And I think there was somewhere, okay, here we go. So rich text, images, and links. I think there was also somewhere link for upgrading or migrating. To see upgrade instructions, here we go. Upgrade section. So let's take a look. Elements property change, blah, blah, blah. We are looking for rich text resolution. To ensure the resolution is as easy as possible, you could use Kentico Gatsby content components for URL resolution. You could reuse the implementation of URL slug according to the resolution of images, inline linked items, and components. This resolution gives you the ability to resolve these two React components, not just string-based HTML. Perfect. Let's take a look. So this is what I want. So I'm just gonna stop the site for a moment and install that. I'm just gonna save it. And let's take a look at what we have here. Rich text elements from Kentico content could be resolved to React components using HTML React parser. Yeah, I think this is what I want. So let's try to do this. So face, I'm gonna import that here. Rich text element from components. And on the place where I want the resolved HTML, I'm just gonna put this. So breadcrumbs, content zone. That's here. So value is going to be face elements content. Face elements content. This is going to be face elements content images. Face elements content links. Modular content. And here we have the resolvers, the actual resolvers, right? So we're resolving images to image URL description, and we don't want any width here. Resolve link, link, down node. No, we don't want any of this, I think. Context data type, what's that? Oh, okay, we could use external data in here. No, I don't need that. I just want link to link URL slug. That's fine for me at this point. And DOM node children data. Okay, let's see how this works. Resolve linked item. Let's leave it like it is. We'll see what this does. And move it a little bit. And let's try to run the site. This looks far too easy to work. So let's see. Okay, link is not defined. That's because I'm not importing link from Gatsby here, I assume. Yeah. Let's take that from breadcrumbs, for example. I assume we're using link here. Here it is. Oh, there's GraphQL. So let's use it like this. I expect a lot of errors. Here we go. So first argument must be a string. Maybe we're not getting the right data here. Let's see. Let's output face element content first. I think we're looking for face element content's value, by the way. My mistake again. Yeah, that's definitely value. But otherwise, let me see what we have in there. Content item face content, yeah. So we're looking for content item face elements content. So see, the value is just one of those things. So we got images, links, modular content, and so on. So we might want to have all of these things. So in here, what we actually want is not just value, but we now want all of those things that we need in the resolver. So we need, for value, we need the value, but we also need images, links, and modular content. So images, links, and modular content. Field images of type rich text images must have a selection of subfields. Did you mean images? Okay, fair enough. Let me see what we are working with. That's what I actually need. So we want URL, description, and name. We got URL and description. We don't have a name here. URL and description, only URL and description there. So we're looking for images, URL, and description. I assume we're gonna need the same for links and modular content. So I'm just gonna go and do that right away. So images, links. How do we work with links here? Yeah, so here we want URL slug. Let's see if we have that there. Links. We've got URL slug and link ID and codename. So the only thing we want is URL slug here. So links, URL slug. And for modular content, I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think we use that here anywhere. So yeah, well, let's see what we have in there. If we take it, yeah, so this is basically an array of things. But we don't, I don't think we use that at all. So I think we can omit this actually. So we can remove this. Now this should yield less errors. Let's see if we can actually get this working. Cannot read property content item face of undefined. Data is undefined, how come? Phase 26. No, these are fine. Data content item phase. Content item phase, this is cool. What's there not to like? So that usually points to the fact that my GraphQL query is broken, which I don't know how it could be. Let's remove this. Okay, this works now. URL description. Oh, maybe I need to use URL.value. URL. No, that should be fine. And links URL slug. That should be working well. Images, links, URL slug. That's all good from my point of view. Let me make this light a bit stronger. There we go. This should be fine. So what's there not to like? Okay, now it works. Weird. Let's see the console. The console seems fine. And the links are not rendered, but otherwise I see that this is working. What I also could do here is provide the same data to a table of contents element. So not resolved HTML, but a value. Let's see what this does. Okay, it did create some of these things. H0, H1, which is essentially what I want. I will have to figure out the headings because they don't have the appropriate IDs. That's actually work of one of these helper functions. If we look here, it's maybe at the top. So you see parse tables and add anchors. That's That's one of these functions. I'm gonna have to figure out a way how to incorporate this into the new rich text element. But for now, the table of contents is working. We have to look at the links now. And I think that these are, these are not leading anywhere. Let's take a look at how they're implemented. So ref is empty. Data item ID. So this was not really resolved at all. So let's take a look at what we have here. So link to, I'm just gonna check if this resolver is used. If it is, we know where to look. If it isn't, we know where to not look. Okay, this was not resolved at all. So this is not used at all. Let's see what else do we have available here. I thought this is a job for a result link item. That is weird. Why is this not working? Oh, maybe because I removed the link items. Let's see if there is any modular content actually. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna check in graph EQL what we have in here. And I want the content item phase. I want the gathering one. So I'm just gonna check here. Elements, title, value. This is conclusion. What I want is content item phase, but I want to filter it so that the title value equals gathering. Cool. So you see that we got the H2 here. It's a data item. So there is a link within the H2 that needs to be resolved, and it wasn't resolved. Now, what I expect here, that under modular content, there will be content item link with a URL and a title. Let's see if that's true. No, we don't have that there. Okay, so it's not modular content, it's actually just a link to data item with the data item ID. Let me see if we have anything like that here. Rich text element links. Maybe this should be links under links. So not here, but under links, URL slug. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. So we got links. Those are called links. And we probably need to get link ID so that the resolver can somehow map it together, otherwise it would have no idea to know that this link is pointing to this URL. So what we need is links. We need link ID and URL slug. So here under links, we need URL slug and also link ID. Link ID, URL slug. Then here we're getting links, link. Now this should work then. Let's refresh this. This is still not working. Why is this not working? Console. Still nothing there. Let's see. So we got the rich text here, links, face elements, content dot links. Here. Face elements content dot links. Codename should not be necessary, and type should also not be necessary. Let me see how it's implemented actually. We should be able to do that here. So components, source, I assume there is a rich text element, perfect. Let's take a look. So linked items, no, we're looking for links. Is link. So it's looking for anchor tags. And that anchor tag has to have a linked item ID attribute identifier, which is data item ID. That should find it. So links, replace node. Replace node. Links, any undefined. If is linked item, DOM node. If resolve image, if resolve link. If resolve link. So that's the function that's defined right here. And links. If is link. Link, link ID, resolve link, link, and DOM node. That should be all fine, as far as I can say. Let's put here the resolve flag. Oh, here it is. So it's going through the, okay. So somehow I had to hard refresh this. But you see, I'm not doing anything, and sometimes it just starts working. But perfect. Now this is resolved, finally. So interaction project phases, that works. Gathering, that works. If we go to functional requirements, this works too, apart from the index here. But otherwise, this seems to be working well. Okay, let's fix this now. Okay, because I'm not sure. Gathering requirement, environment requirements gathering. No, this is not correct. Let's see. So this one should go to gathering functional requirements, so the URLs are okay. This should only go to /gathering. Okay, so there's a problem here in the breadcrumbs. In the breadcrumbs, we should be referencing the root, and we are not. So link, this is good. This is good link. Get link. Yeah, here there should be slash. Let's see if this helps. Okay, this works. So we're missing a slash there. So now the links should be working. Perfect. And what we need is now fix the index here. So you see this is a 0, but it shouldn't be. So let's see, I think it's again because of the IDs and system IDs. So let's take a look at phase because it's using the same template. Again, using phase. So let's take a look. So we're looking for all the phases or all the project phases. Then we go into elements, content item value, elements, subphases. Okay. If there are any subphases, but this should be subphases dot value, if I'm not mistaken. No, this is not the navigation. We want the navigation. So content item phase, subphases value. Yeah, subphases value, and you see we're looking only for system ID, so we need to go in there. So that should be easy fix. Content item value elements subphases dot value dot value subphases dot value dot for each. Okay, let's see. Okay, now we got 3.2, but that's wrong because gathering should only be 1. 3.2. It's always 3.2, you see? Okay. Some kind of a problem there. And this is the problem. So we're looking for subphase nav. And we're comparing that. So we're looking for, here we go. Subphases value system ID. We're always looking for system ID, not only for IDs. Right, so what we need to do is subphase nav.system.id equals phase.system.id. Okay, now we got the correct value here. That's 1 gathering, 1.1 functional requirements, 1.2 environment requirements. Perfect. So now this is working. This is working well. Now, let's go back into phase template. Now, what I want to do as the next thing is, here we got the value here, right? But we need to pre-process actually here the value because you see that there is a table of contents here that is referencing some content that's already on the page, right? Like here, project definition, design, and so on. This is designed so that it goes through the HTML, finds all the headings, and tries to add them unique references here. So that you don't have to scroll down to find out that there is a general functionality heading. And you should be able to go there directly. But what we need to do here is, so we need to pre-process the HTML so that the general functionality heading gets this ID. Now we used to have a function that does that. It's called add anchors that works on the text, and I think that we can actually use this directly on the text. So let's see if this is going to help. Add anchors, phase elements content value. Okay, the HTML looks the same. Let's take a look if this works. Yeah, so this was quick and easy. So this works. Nice. And the next thing we need to do is there are some tables. I think it's deploying maybe. There is a table here. Yeah. So there are some tables. And because we're using headless CMS to get the data, the tables don't have any, explicit styles or any styles that can be defined on that level. So what we use is we use these brackets with a dot that actually need to be translated into respective class names of the fields, of the cells. So for that, we also have another function here. And that function is called parse tables. So this is going to be the same story. We're going to have to add anchors and then parse tables, or the other way around. Doesn't matter, I think, here. We can take a look at how we did that here. So we first called parse tables, that add anchors. Or actually the other way around. First add anchors and then parse tables. Doesn't matter. It should be the same. But you see, now this seems to work well. And still this is rendered and working nice. So the last thing we need to do here is the next breath buttons. So there are some other things like scenarios and so on, but I think I'm going to leave that for next week. So now I just want to fix the next breath buttons. The next breath buttons are specific in a way that when you are on the gathering and click on a next, it should go to functional requirements. Then from here, next should go to environment requirements. So these are two subphases. And if you're within the environment requirements and you click on next, it goes to the next phase, which is planning. Yeah. So it's a bit confusing how this works, but this should actually take you from one phase to another, just like that. I don't know what kind of plugin is here. What's that? Oh, this is unresolved. Okay. These are unresolved links. So we'll look at those later. Let's now fix the next breath buttons because there's going to be some logic there. Maybe this is going to be quick and easy. I don't know. So next breath buttons, let's go in. So we're going to have to fix the query here as well. Just going to uncomment this. And this is going to be a very similar story as all the queries before. I think only cosmetic changes will be needed here. You know, the dot value and so on. So let's take a look. Let's put that here. Let's make it nice. And let's run this. We're of course gonna hit a wall with this, but it's the same thing, you know, elements, child items. Let's go up. All container navigation items, we're looking for phases, then we're looking for child items, and we are looking for subphases. So obviously on the child items, we're looking for value and phase, and on that, we are looking for content item. Okay, then we're not looking for phase. I guess I'm wrong here. We're looking for content item, so this is a navigation item. And in the navigation item, we are looking for elements and content item. In that content item, we're obviously looking for phase. And of that phase, we want system ID. System ID. And we also want subphase system ID. So under elements, subphase, value, system ID. We don't actually need to define the type on the second level because the system ID is a generic field. Yeah, that's there for all content items. We only need to define the type so that we can get access to elements and subphases. That's the important part. Now we can remove this. So we got system ID and that. Let's see if this is gonna work. Yeah, working nice. So now I can take the whole thing and copy it back. Okay. Now obviously I need to fix these things. So node elements child items, I need to do dot value just like before. Phase content item dot value. Or actually here it was just content item. Then array is dot value. Then content item dot value is 1. Content item dot value 0. Content item dot value dot value. Subphases dot value. Content item dot value subphases dot value. Okay, this is subphase system ID, and phase should also be using system ID, which is fine. Okay, edges for each phase. Phase node system ID, that's fine. Elements, that's title, that value, this is fine. URL value, this is all okay. Okay, let's save this. What's wrong here? Oh. My mistake here, because I forgot to remove the next press buttons. Okay, now this is successful. Let's see. So we are at the gathering page and we got link to next. Next goes to gathering functional requirements, which is fine. That's exactly where I want to go. But the problem is with the link, so I'm gonna have to change. Where is the link rendered? So 2 is gonna be slash and next or previous phase. This is the next phase. Let's refresh this. Okay, so we can go to next. That's functional requirements 1.1. Then we can go back to gathering or to gathering environment requirements. Perfect. And now this should go to planning. Next goes to planning. And previous should go back to gathering environment requirements. Perfect. So you see that these buttons are now working. The next thing would be these links. I think these are actually the modular content items. Let's see how these are working. So let's remove this. And we are looking for all or for content item phase. Again, we're looking for content. This is going to be related to the rich text modular content. Here we go. And in the modular content, we need to know what we're dealing with. Yeah, so there are 4 main components to planning projects. I assume that, let's see, we were here in planning. So these are rendered as links, or let me show you that in the headless CMS, that'll be easiest. So when we look at phase, I think that was planning, wasn't it? Yeah, planning. So we're looking at planning. There is a content. And within the content, you see that there are links. This is a link to mapping requirements. There's a teaser, there's a content, and so on. But this is actually an inline, a linked item of that item, right? This is living someplace else. If I go here and edit it, you see it takes me to a completely different page, to page planning mapping requirements. So what I want to do is take this thing and only take specific data from it. You see that I'm using the title, mapping requirements. I'm using the URL, obviously, so that I know where I can take the user. And I'm using the overview. That's all I'm doing here. Yeah, nothing else. So that's what I actually want in my GraphQL query. Let's take a look here. We are looking for, this is phase. Yeah, this is again a phase. And we are looking for elements. And in those elements, we are looking for title, URL, and we are looking for, I think it was overview. Let's see. Yeah, obviously this is not gonna yield any result. We have to tell it to give me the planning. So item phase where elements, title, value equals planning. All right, so you see these are the 4 items that are displayed there. Mapping requirements, picking a project type, and so on. Now you have to know what kind of linked items are available there. And based on that, you have to build your GraphQL query. So that's exactly what I'm doing here. And essentially, I'm just going to take this thing under content, the modular content, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's fine. I'm just gonna include that in the phase. Yeah, so this is the phase GraphQL query, and we are looking at not navigation item, but we're looking at content here. And you see that we were already working with value, with images, with links. Now we need to add modular content and define what we actually want in scope of that modular content. So that's exactly what I'm doing here. I'm just gonna save this. And then we're gonna need to include that here. And in order to do that, I'm just gonna go quickly go back here to see JS SDK. Here we go. This is what I want. So we are looking for resolve linked item. Oh, we have that here already. So the only thing we need to do is provide the linked items. This thing. That's what I deleted before. Oh, come on. I hate these white spaces. So linked items, that would be, in my case, face.elements.content.modular content. Yeah. And in this case, we should see 4 lines of stringified data. Let's see if that's true. Let's refresh this. Cannot read property codename of undefined. Okay, this is within the component, which is good. We're getting there. Item system codename. So we're not getting a codename for that. Item system codename. Modular content. Okay, maybe what I could do here is add that here, system.codename. So I'm just gonna copy that over on content item face, system codename. I think that modular content items are actually linked via codename, so that actually makes sense to know where each modular content goes. So what's going on here? Cannot read property codename of undefined item. Linked items. You're saying that my linked items don't have modular content. Okay, maybe this is something that's related to cache or something, but I'm not taking that chance anymore. I'm just gonna rebuild the site to see if this is working or not. Where were we? Here, face.elements.content.modular content. I think this is okay. This should be working. But maybe I'm wrong, of course. Oh, here we go. So I was not wrong in this case. So we got some JSON here, stringified JSON, but that's obviously not the way how we want it to be displayed. So what we want is this nice HTML, right? So this is something that we need to add there. Yeah, this is what the resolver does. So here we can actually say that what is a good thing to do if you have multiple types is to define the type here. So what I can do is linked item. This always has modular content. So this always has also a type here. Yeah, system code type. If you look here, system codename, there is a type as well, right? So what you can see here is that the type is face. The good thing in the resolver is to also make a condition on the type, because otherwise, if you just omit that, let's say if we are here, and if you omit the type, it will always try to resolve any linked item of any type using the HTML that you provide here, right? So what I prefer to do is if linked item dot system dot type equals face, then we can render the HTML. Yeah, I'm gonna borrow the HTML from somewhere. I'm not sure where we actually have that. Let me see. Search results, table of contents. How did we do that before? I think we defined everything here. So type resolver phase new phase. So we got that on the module level. Phase. Yeah, I think this is the one. H2 href. But the safest way how to do this is just take a look here. I'm just gonna take a look here. It's the quickest way. H2, you see this is again H2 and an overview. So it's the same. It's this thing. Not template phase, but this was a model. Model, where's my model? Here it is. So this is essentially the way how it's rendered. You see this is the overview and everything. So this is what we essentially want to do. So what we can do is define the output here. And return the output just like that. The only difference is that there's going to be linked item elements URL value, linked item elements title value, h2 item overview value is not okay. So this is the empty placeholder for data coming from content, and if that's true, it's gonna render the overview. Otherwise, it's gonna be empty. And what we can do here is, in other cases, that the type is not the one that we expect, we will just render the stringified output. Item is not defined. Yep, there should be linked item. And here too. Okay, so this was rendered. Cannot read property value of undefined. Linked item overview. Yeah, that's elements overview. Dot elements overview. The same goes here. Elements. Nice, let's take a look. Okay, not supported. Let's do a quick check. Seems like the type is not the same. System type is phase. So, okay, first thing, this is, for some reason, this gives me nothing. And the second thing is the table of contents has still some kind of content log. Let's remove that. And let's refresh. Okay, so the type is still has a face and code name. Right, so we need to go one level down. I missed that completely here, because here it's not like that. we don't know that this is an object, but here you actually see, oh, this should be face. This should be face. This is weird. System.type should be face. Oh, okay, here it is. Sorry, I'm getting confused. So this is of course fine. The dot type should give me a face, but maybe he doesn't like the 3 equal signs there. Let's see if he's gonna like it better now. Nope, he doesn't. Okay, let me see. True, 4 times true. So why are we not getting here? Four times resolving. 4 times resolving, but we are not getting there. We're getting... But we're not getting even this. That's interesting. But this seems to be working, so the output should be fine. Why are we not getting that then? I'm just gonna try to rebuild this thing again. We are still not getting the right result here. See, we're still getting objects here. Link type, data code name. Which is strange. This has already been working before. What if we comment this out? So this works, okay. So he's not liking my if here. Maybe he's not liking 2 returns, but that doesn't make any sense. Oh, maybe he doesn't like that I'm returning string instead of... Okay, that makes sense. He expects me to return components, not string, right away. So what we need to do here is actually just change this a bit. So h2 aref is going to be just the value. Linked item elements URL. Here we have the linked item element style value h2. And this is just a HTML string, so that's interesting. What can we do about this then? What we can do is do this, but I'm not sure this is gonna play nice like that and return output. Let's see if this is gonna work at least. Nope, he still doesn't like it. Okay. Let's see if he doesn't like two returns. Nope, still not that. Let's see if this is gonna work like this. Okay, this works. So maybe he doesn't like, you know, getting a variable. But that shouldn't make a problem. No, this is still not working. So let me see what's the implementation here. So this is the linked items. Resolve linked item. But I want to see the implementation, the actual implementation. So linked items, resolve linked item. That's what I'm looking for. Function undefined. So if is linked item, return resolve linked item. That should be working. Interesting, but what we can do is well, why isn't this working? JSX element, that should be fine. What if we do it like this? Return. Okay, this works. Strangely enough. But if we do it like this, it still works, so this shouldn't be a problem. So maybe he's not just liking this part. If linked item elements overview value, so what if we do it like this? Maybe he doesn't like the addition. Let's see if this is gonna work. Okay, this works. Linked item elements overview value. So there should obviously be a bracket here. Okay, this works, but it should be defined like this. Dangerous set inner HTML. The end of a div. Let's see. Now this is nicer. And then we just need to assign it there. So how do you connect JSX elements, by the way? JSX append. Okay, seems like I need this this array. So let's do it like that. And then do output push that diff. Oh, we don't need the else here, actually. Just return. Wow, okay. Let's see if this is gonna work. No, it doesn't. Why don't you work? Why don't you work? Come on. So phrase push. Okay, now alternatively what we can do is just do it all in a single line. Like put here div like h2 and we can do an end here. Linked items elements overview value is not that. And then we can add this div. And then we can return it all right away, I guess. And remove that. So let's see if he's gonna like this. Okay, but he did only include the first or the second part. Okay. So what if we did like this? No, he still doesn't like that. So what if we do a nested condition here? I'm just trying out stuff here to get this working. No, he still doesn't like that. Now, he's not allowing me to do that at all. So what if we did like react.fragment if we don't want to introduce a new element here? We could do h2 ahref, end of the h2. Then we could do this. And then we could end the React fragment. Maybe he just wants, you know, single parent, which would make sense in this case. There we go. That looks much better. All right, so this is now resolved. This still doesn't work, which we will need to look at a bit later. But otherwise, this seems to work nice. Mapping requirements, so that works. The next pref buttons work as well. Whew. Okay, guys. So this is how you can resolve that that modular content. Obviously, you need to have just one single parent. That's something that I had to figure out the hard way, but it makes sense. The bad thing is that I'm not getting any error messages about this, but yeah. Oh, there are still some errors here, but let's leave the errors for next time, guys. I'm just gonna try to figure out how to work with the warnings as well. I'm gonna have to figure out those too. So next time we're gonna have to fix the table of contents here on this page. We're gonna have to look at the scenarios. I'm not sure if there are any scenarios here, but there are definitely some on some of these pages. So that's these little boxes. Let me show you here. So these little boxes. So we're gonna have to do those next time. And hopefully at the end of next week's stream, we're gonna be able to make a pull request. Oh, we still need to figure out these things in the menu. So this one is currently bold, right? That still doesn't work in this case in my website. So thanks for joining, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to ping me here on Twitter. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this gave you some info into how to make or how to update your projects. You see that sometimes it's straightforward, sometimes it takes a bit of trying and failing, but overall it doesn't seem like anything that's too hard or something that should give you a nightmare. So let me know if you have any questions, and have a nice weekend. I'll see you guys next week, and remember, it's the hackathon. It's Hacktoberfest, so make sure to contribute to open source, and good luck with being one of the first 70,000. I'll try to do that myself, but you know how it is with time. So thanks for joining. I'll see you next time. Bye.